Alrighty, let's do it. Top 25 European business schools, including the UK. This is the Profs Power Earnings Rankings. We've taken out all of the fluff and just taken into consideration two things for our rankings. What is the average salary you'll get after graduation? And what's the percentage chance of you being employed with that 3 months after graduation? We multiply them together to get the expected earnings of your first year after graduation and take everything else out, because this, we believe, is the best market valuation that these brands add to your CV. It's what employers are realistically going to pay for you. Now let's jump straight in. All right, we're going to go country by country, and we're starting off with Insead. Now this surprises me. I personally, if it wasn't on these objective criteria, would have put Insead straight into S tier. I believe it's top 3 in the world. And yet on earnings, it goes into our A tier. That's because despite having the second highest average salary, $199,000, not a bad paycheck, there's only an 84% employment rate. Now, this might be because of the French labour market. This might be because Insead has, in recent years, increased the number of MBA graduates quite a lot, meaning more competition. But at 84%, it is actually one of the joint lowest employment prospects of all those on the list. And that pulls that average salary down to an expected salary of 167, meaning many others are able to dominate it. All right, coming in next, staying with France here, HEC Paris, brilliant school, particularly for their finance masters. We see that they come in at 158,000, about $10,000 less than Insead, but with that 90% employment, very good nonetheless. Going in next, ESCP, very good. They have a UK campus, it's brilliant. They're coming in at our B tier. Nothing wrong with £142,000 expected. And at 99 employment rate, they are actually the joint highest, most likely to get you a job. So you keep all of that $143,900 they expect you to earn. All right, going in next, we have Lyon coming in on C along with EdHEC. Again, EDHEC, sorry, very good business schools, just dominated by others in the ranking, but did well to make it into our top 25. And lastly, we have from France, ESSEC, 107,000, one of the lowest. In fact, the lowest average earnings of 115.7 thousand, although pretty good, 93% chance of being employed with that rate. Still, none of these are bad schools. All right, we've done France. Now let's go through some of the other countries, some of the one-hit wonders on our list. And we start off with Germany, only one in the top 25%. Amazing given the German economy. And it is the very good Manheim Business School. This comes in on our B tier at $130,000, 93% employment rate, pretty good overall. Now moving over to the Netherlands, they have one as well, and it is the Rotterdam School of Management, coming in our lower tier here today at 102,000. It has the second lowest average earnings overall. Next up, we have Lisbon, Nova, rising very quickly in the international rankings. Great to see some Portuguese representation here, and we expect it to rise up in future rankings as they do better and better. 91% employment rate, pretty good. Next, we have Trinity, which comes in just below at 107,000. Now, again, we see an interesting thing with the ranking of these last 3 business schools. Lisbon actually has the lowest average salary at $120,000, but because that 91% employment, it has a higher expected salary than the others, 109 beating 107 and 102, making it the top ranked of the best of the rest. Moving over to Switzerland, very good business schools here, 2 of which have made it into our top 25. We have University of St. Gallen. And this one really surprised me. It does so well, Gallen, in many rankings, but their MBA earnings haven't done so well in this year of data. In fact, I can tell you that Gallen comes in the middle of our C tier, because despite the £140,000 very nice paycheck you can have on average, at just 81% employment rate, it is the bottom of employability on this year's rankings. Now, is that because the Swiss are all doing very well and don't need to go for jobs in 3 months, can afford to wait? We don't know. But we do see it is the lower of that tier. IMD comes in a tier above it at a fantastic 144,000 expected salary, 172 if you can get a job. If you're in that 84% who do, we see Switzerland doing very well in this year's showings. Alrighty, now on to our final three, UK, Spain and Italy. As expected, UK dominates the rankings. Education is one of the biggest exports and the UK does it very well. Hell, they'd neck of end have invented higher education. We have a separate UK ranking, which I go through all of these in great detail. Please check that out in the description to understand the specifics of which university is doing well here. But I will stick in our one S tier LBS, fantastic 192,000 salary, 90% employment rate, puts our first S tier. London Business School, brilliant. We send tens of people there every year. Despite being just a 30% acceptance rate, we have an over 80% acceptance rate to getting our candidates into this university, and they absolutely love it. Shockingly, Oxford and Cambridge are topping out our A tier, but didn't quite make it into that top bracket where the expected earnings topped 170,000. Of course, absolutely brilliant business schools. We see the market ranks them lower than our top 3 business schools in this list. Shocking, but we love data, and that's why. Imperial comes up next, doing the best of the rest before we move through to Warwick, Bayes and Manchester Business School coming in at our C tier, and then we have the rest. Alrighty. We are down to our final 4. Spain is doing really well for business schools. It has been rising in the rankings. What used to be a UK dominance and then challenged by France is seeing a fantastic showing. And I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of years, Spain is dominating that S tier as well as the A tier. We come in first with IE, one of the hottest business schools right now. For most Europeans, this is one of the top 5. And in our rankings, I can tell you, it does indeed come at the very top of our A tier, just short of that 170,000 bracket needed for S tier. Now, next in Spain, we have ESADE, which, and I was shocked by this, beats Cambridge, Saïd, Oxford, and Insead. And that's because, once again, we see fantastic employment rates. 182,000 salary on average for this one, and 91% of those graduates are receiving this within 3 months of graduating, putting IE and Insead at 166,000 expected dollars each. Well done to those Spanish business schools. All right, we have the battle for the top. Spain versus Italy, just like the European Championships in football. But which is going to come top? ESSEC, an absolutely brilliant Spanish business school that's doing fantastically in the rankings, at $175,000 and 94% employment, does make it into our top tier. It even tops London Business School, beating all of those British universities. But, and this blew my mind, it is not top. Bocconi, our only Italian university on this list, and a university, I've got to apologize, I've been bashing in some of my other videos, quite a lot of my commentary, absolutely smashes this ranking. For MBAs, it blows all the others out the water. It has the highest average salary, the only university to top $200,000 on the FT global rankings. Not a bad paycheck. At 95% employment, every 19 for 20 candidates is receiving this sort of salary, meaning that our expected salary in our rankings and topping us up is $192,000. Fair play, Bocconi. Italy takes the win here. We also see Spain doing very well. England, as always in the UK, doing brilliantly, but surprisingly not making as much for showing this year in the S tier as we would expect. And then France continuing to rise up those rankings and a smattering throughout the rest of the European nations. Now, that's just one ranking. We go into detail the UK rankings. We've also got the US rankings coming out, the world rankings, our finance rankings, our best business school overall, our value for money. Do subscribe for more of this content if you're trying to make decisions about which degrees are best for your future. And we see here the value of these brands. We have $100,000 per year, each and every year, growing return from the difference between the top and the 25th in Europe. If you'd like to work with myself or one of my team, this is the sort of data we put in the hands of our clients to help them make the best decisions on employability and fast track their careers. And we would love to help support your application. If you're looking for guides on how to get into any of these universities, please do click around our YouTube channel. We've got them for almost every single institution on this list. Lastly, if you've got any questions, where's my university? Any surprises, any shocks, to comment. We love getting comments and try and get back to all of them. And lastly, like and subscribe for more content. Thank you very much. Best luck in your applications.